He had learned very quickly that life on a mixed-species starship was built on rules. Too many rules. Lieutenant Aaron Hale lay on his narrow sleeping platform, staring at the dim ceiling lights of the diplomatic vessel horizon of Accord. The ship drifted through neutral space, carrying delegates from 12 species. Humans were new to this level of galactic politics, and because of that, humans were watched closely. Every step, every word, every breath followed protocol, especially interactions with the Velari. The Velari were tall, pale-skinned beings with dark, reflective eyes and calm, unreadable faces. They valued control above all else. Emotion was considered a flaw. Improvisation was a weakness. Humans, by Velari standards, were walking violations. That was why Aaron had been assigned as an observer, not a decision-maker. Watch, listen, report, do not interfere. He was good at following orders. He had survived 3 frontier conflicts by knowing when to stay quiet. Still, tonight something felt wrong. The ship's night cycle had begun. Most corridors were empty, lights dimmed to energy-saving levels. Aaron had just removed his boots when a soft chime echoed through his cabin. He frowned. No one visited human quarters during rest cycle. "Enter," he said cautiously. The door slid open. Commander Cyril of the Velari stepped inside. She was not wearing her formal command attire. Instead, she wore a simple, close-fitting garment, silver gray, without rank markings. Her posture was still perfect, but her eyes were different. Alert. Unsettled, Aaron stood immediately. "Commander, is something wrong?" She looked at the door as it sealed shut behind her. For a moment she said nothing. The silence stretched, thick and uncomfortable. Then she spoke softly. "No rules tonight." Before Aaron could respond, she crossed the room and sat on the edge of his sleeping platform. His mind raced. This was impossible, illegal, career-ending, interstellar law-breaking, impossible. "Commander," he said slowly, choosing every word with care, "you shouldn't be here." "If someone detects—" "I know," she said. "That is why I am here." She turned to face him fully. Up close, Aaron could see faint tremors in her hands. Velari were not supposed to tremble. "This platform," she continued, placing her palm against the bed's surface, "is designed to support human neural rest patterns, correct?" "Yes," Aaron said, confused. It's just a bed." "No," Cyril replied. "It is more than that." She reached into her sleeve and produced a small, crystal-like device. When she activated it, the room's ambient lights shifted. Symbols flickered across the walls, Velari code, sealed and classified. Aaron's stomach dropped. "You just activated a restricted field," he whispered. "Yes," she said again, "one that masks us from ship surveillance for 9 minutes. 9 minutes, Aaron repeated. "That's not much time." "It will have to be enough," she said. "Lieutenant Hale, you were selected because you are irregular." That word again. Humans heard it often. "Selected for what?" he asked. Cyril inhaled slowly, as if preparing to break something fragile inside herself. "My species is dying." The words hit harder than any weapon. "What?" Aaron said. "Not today, not tomorrow, but soon," she said. "Our genetic stability has been declining for generations. We optimized ourselves for control, logic, and perfection. We removed what we believed was unnecessary." "Emotion," Aaron guessed. "Yes, and unpredictability," she said. "We became efficient. And then we stopped changing." Aaron's training kicked in. "Commander, this is something your science councils have failed to solve," she cut in sharply. The emotion in her voice was unmistakable now. Fear. "Our simulations all end the same way. Stagnation, collapse. Extinction within 4 standard cycles." Aaron swallowed. "And humans? You survive," she said simply. "Against odds that should erase you, you adapt when logic says adaptation is impossible." She met his gaze directly. Velari rarely held eye contact this long. "We discovered something," she continued. "Human neural patterns do not follow linear optimization. Your minds create noise, but within that noise is possibility." Aaron felt cold. "You're saying my brain is noisy?" "Yes," she said, "and that noise may save us." She placed the crystal device onto the bed. The surface beneath it shimmered faintly. "This is a biosynchronization node," she said. "It allows shared neural resonance, not data transfer, experience transfer." Aaron's heart pounded. "That's banned tech." "Because it destabilizes Velari minds," she said quietly. "But you are not Velari." He took a step back. "Commander, if this goes wrong—" "It will," she said. "But if we do nothing, we die." The timer in Aaron's head ticked. 9 minutes, now less. "And why me?" he asked. "Because you failed your psychological evaluation 3 times," she said. Yet you remain functional, because you disobeyed orders during the Karsus evacuation and saved 400 civilians. Because when your commanders reprimanded you, you accepted the punishment without regret. That was just doing the right thing, Aaron said. Cyril's eyes softened. That concept does not exist in Velari doctrine. She shifted, lying back onto the platform. The device pulsed once. Lie down, she said. Aaron hesitated. Every instinct screamed at him to stop, to report this, to walk away. But he saw something else in her expression, hope. He lay down beside her, careful not to touch. The platform adjusted instantly, responding to both their weights. The device activated fully. Light flooded his vision. Aaron felt as if his thoughts were no longer contained inside his skull. Memories surfaced unbidden, childhood laughter, battlefield chaos, fear, stubborn determination. He felt Cyril's presence like a cold, vast ocean pressing against his mind. She gasped, her calm shattered. "This is," she whispered, "so much." Her thoughts brushed against his. Not words, feelings, precision, silence, endless control, and then something cracked. Cyril's breath quickened. Her hand clutched the edge of the bed. "Your mind," she said, voice shaking. "It does not stop, even at rest." Aaron winced. "Sorry, no," she said. "It is beautiful." Alarm screamed suddenly in his head, not from the ship but from her. Velari mental defenses collapsing under human unpredictability. "Cyril," he said urgently, "we need to shut this down." "Wait," she said, gripping his arm, physical contact. Another rule broken. "I see now, you don't resist chaos, you ride it." Security protocols slammed against the masked field, time almost up. "I am changing," she whispered, fear and wonder mixed together. "For the first time, I feel choice." The device powered down abruptly. Silence returned. Cyril sat up slowly, breathing hard. She looked at her hands as if seeing them for the first time. Footsteps echoed faintly outside the door. She stood. "They will come," she said. "This cannot be hidden," Aaron nodded. "Then what happens?" She met his eyes, no longer fully controlled, no longer fully Velari. "Then we break more rules," she said. "Together." The door began to unlock, and somewhere deep within the ship's systems, something ancient and perfect had just been disturbed. The door did not open fully. It stopped halfway, metal grinding softly, as if the ship itself hesitated. Red warning lights flickered once, then went dark again. Commander Cyril stood very still, her hand still warm where it had gripped Aaron's arm moments earlier. Her breathing was no longer perfectly controlled. That alone would have shocked any Velari observer. Aaron moved first. Training took over, quiet and fast. "There's a maintenance crawlway behind the wall panel," he said in a low voice. Human quarters were retrofitted. "Not everything matches Velari schematics." Cyril looked at him sharply. "You already planned an escape." "No," he said honestly. "Humans just notice exits." Footsteps grew louder outside. Velari security moved with perfect rhythm. Too perfect. Aaron crossed the room and tore open the wall panel. Cables and narrow space beyond. Not comfortable, not safe. "Go," he said. Cyril hesitated for only half a second, then followed. That alone meant the synchronization had changed her more than she realized. They slipped inside. Aaron pulled the panel closed just as the door slid fully open. Velari security officers entered the room. They saw nothing. The crawlway was tight and dark. Aaron led the way, moving on instinct, fingers brushing metal, counting turns in his head. Cyril followed silently, but her mind was loud now. Aaron could feel it like echoes from a storm. "Your thoughts are leaking," she whispered. "Welcome to humanity," he whispered back. They crawled for several minutes. The ship hummed around them, engines steady, systems calm. On the surface, nothing was wrong. But beneath that calm, alarms had already been triggered. Velari Command had detected a fluctuation, not the masked field itself, but something worse. Change. They emerged into an unused service bay. Old equipment, crates sealed and forgotten. The lights flickered weakly. Cyril straightened slowly, placing a hand against the wall as if grounding herself. "This feeling," she said, "it has not stopped." Aaron studied her. Her posture was still disciplined, but her eyes moved constantly now, observing, reacting. "That's emotion," he said. "Doesn't come with an off switch." She almost smiled, almost. "They will not stop hunting us," she said. "I broke sacred law." "So did I," Aaron replied. "Difference is, humans are used to disappointing authority." She looked at him with something new. Respect across the ship, the High Logic Council convened in emergency session. Velari leaders appeared in holographic form, pale faces tight with concern. The human has contaminated her, one said. Terminate the experiment, another ordered. Erase the data. The data is already spreading, a third voice replied. Her neural signature touched the ship network. Silence followed. That was impossible. Velari systems were closed, isolated, controlled, until they weren't. In the service bay, Cyril suddenly gasped. She dropped to one knee, clutching her head. Aaron was beside her instantly. Hey, stay with me. I can hear them, she said, voice shaking. Other minds touching the same chaos. Aaron understood too late. The synchronization had not ended. It had multiplied. Velari officers across the ship paused in their movements. Some hesitated. Others felt unfamiliar sensations, doubt, curiosity, fear. A technician removed her hands from a console, staring at them in confusion. What is happening to me? She whispered. Command tried to lock down the affected sectors, doors sealed, systems isolated. It only made it worse. Humans would have recognized the pattern instantly. Pressure without release creates explosion. Aaron helped Cyril to her feet. You need to focus, he said. Pick one thing. Anchor yourself? How? She asked. Think about why you did this, he said. Not logic, reason. She closed her eyes. My species deserves to live, she said softly, not just exist. The trembling eased, footsteps echoed again. Security units were closing in, adapting now. Aaron scanned the bay. We can't outrun them, he said, but we can outthink them. Cyril tilted her head. How? Aaron grinned just a little. By being human about it. He accessed a nearby terminal, fingers moving fast. Velari systems were complex but rigid. Humans had learned long ago how to slip through rigid things. He didn't hack, he improvised. Routing errors, false maintenance flags, small inefficiencies. Nothing that screamed sabotage, just enough confusion. Security teams split up, following ghost signals. Cyril watched in disbelief. You are lying to the ship. Everyone lies to systems, Aaron said. Some just call it optimization. They moved again, deeper into the ship, toward the central cognition chamber. That's where the data is converging, Cyril said. If it reaches the core mind, it will change everything. Or get us both killed, Aaron said. Yes, she agreed. But now I see that risk is not always error. They reached the chamber doors, massive, guarded. Velari elites stood watch, faces calm, too calm. Then one of them blinked, just once, that was enough. The guard stepped aside without realizing why. Aaron and Cyril walked past. Inside, the core mind pulsed, vast, ancient, optimized beyond imagination. It processed the collective logic of an empire. And now human chaos crept toward it like a spark. Once this happens, Cyril said quietly, there is no return. Aaron nodded. Humans rarely go back. She placed her hand against the interface. The ship shook. Across the fleet, Velari froze as the core mind absorbed something new. Not data, experience, fear of extinction, hope of change, the stubborn refusal to accept a perfect ending. The core mind faltered. Then it adapted. Outside the chamber, Velari command forces arrived too late. They watched in horror as system readings stabilized instead of collapsing. This should not be possible, one whispered. Inside, Cyril stood taller than she ever had. We are not broken, she said. We were unfinished. Aaron exhaled slowly. You sure your people are going to like this? She looked at him, truly smiled this time. No, she said, but they will survive. The alarm stopped. The ship entered a new silence. And the galaxy shifted, just a little, because one human mind refused to stay quiet when rules demanded silence. The calm in the ship's corridors was fragile. A thin veneer stretched over chaos that no one could fully see. The core mind pulsed quietly now, adapting to new input that no Velari system had ever experienced. Human unpredictability. Aaron and Cyril stepped out of the central chamber into the main deck. The lights were dim, almost serene, but the crew moved differently. Subtle hesitations, uncertain glances, a quiet stirring in those who had once been entirely predictable. The ship was alive, yes, but alive in a way that respected freedom as much as function. This is only the beginning, Cyril whispered. Her eyes, once cool and distant, now held fire. We cannot hide what has happened. Aaron glanced at her. I have a feeling hiding was never an option. They walked silently to the bridge. Every corridor seemed charged, buzzing with latent energy. Crew members paused when they passed, not out of fear, but curiosity. Something in the air had shifted. The synchronization process had left a mark that went beyond technology. It had left an imprint on minds. When they reached the bridge, the Velari captain met them with narrowed eyes. For For the first time, Aaron noticed a flicker of uncertainty behind the captain's controlled expression. "You were supposed to be terminated," the captain said. His voice was measured, almost mechanical, but it carried an edge Aaron had never heard from a Velari. "We were saving your species," Cyril said evenly. "Something you forgot in your perfection. Survival is not guaranteed by rules alone. It requires adaptation." The captain hesitated. The core mind was connected to every monitor, every sensor, every decision algorithm. It was not just a machine. It was a consciousness shaped by thousands of years of control. And now, that consciousness had been touched by chaos. "Human intervention is unprecedented," the captain admitted. "It cannot be fully measured." Aaron let a small smile escape. "That's the point. Humans are not measurable." Cyril stepped closer to him. "They will try to regain control. Your species, your unpredictability, it will be challenged." "I've faced challenges," Aaron said. "This one just happens to be bigger than any battlefield." In the following hours, the core mind stabilized, but in a way the Velari had never anticipated. It had absorbed the lessons of human chaos, adapting its decision-making to include what it had previously dismissed: intuition, emotion, and flexible reasoning. For the first time, a machine that had once demanded absolute logic now weighed ideas that could not be predicted. Across the fleet, similar phenomena occurred. Ships previously synchronized to the core mind began to exhibit small anomalies, slight variations in routine, hesitations in command sequences, unexpected solutions to logistical problems. The Velari High Logic Council convened again, but this time their deliberations were chaotic. Discussions broke down, debates grew longer, and many voices suggested actions previously unthinkable. Cyril observed this quietly, her hands folded. Aaron noticed she was no longer the rigid commander he had first met. Something in her had changed permanently. The synchronization process had done more than share experience. It had awakened a part of her species that had been dormant for generations. "They are learning," she said softly, "and they don't even realize it." Aaron nodded. "Humans are good at that. We adapt without permission." Their attention turned to a holographic display showing the fleet. The ships were now operating semi-independently, responding to threats and logistical challenges with creative solutions. Where previously there had been perfect, predictable efficiency, now there was resilience. "You did this," Cyril said, turning to him. "Your mind. Your species, you changed everything." Aaron shrugged. "I just did what humans do, solve problems as they come." The Velari captain entered the bridge, flanked by his officers. His expression was unreadable, but his eyes betrayed respect. "You have proven something remarkable," he said to Aaron. "Not just skill, not just courage, but value that cannot be calculated." Aaron felt the weight of that statement. Velari did not praise lightly. Recognition from one species was one thing, but recognition from an entire civilization trained to see humans as minor and flawed was something else entirely. "You will be integrated," the captain continued. "Your methods, your unpredictability will be studied and incorporated into our systems. You will serve as a model for cooperation between humans and Velari." Aaron looked at Cyril. She gave a slight nod. The storm of her first emotional response had settled into calm determination. "It is not enough," she said. "Our people are saved, yes, but they must also understand what it means to choose, to fail, to adapt. That is the lesson humans bring." Aaron smiled faintly. "Well, humans have been learning that lesson for a long time." Together, they stepped toward the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly, beautiful and dangerous, full of civilizations that prized order and control above all else. And now, thanks to the chaos that humans represented, there was room for something new: flexibility, resilience, and hope. Cyril placed a hand on the railing. "Do you realize what you've done?" Aaron shook his head. "I just followed the rules when it mattered." She laughed softly. It was the first time Aaron had heard true laughter from a Velari, warm, melodic, full of surprise. "You broke every rule that mattered, and that is why we are alive." The core mind pulsed quietly beneath their feet, alive and aware, integrating human unpredictability into every decision, every protocol, every outcome. The fleet was no longer simply Velari. It was something new, something stronger, something ready to survive. "Do you think they'll forgive me?" Aaron asked. Cyril turned to him, eyes shining. "Forgive you? They will have to adapt to you, because you and humans like you are not going anywhere." The human nodded slowly. He felt exhausted, exhilarated, and alive in ways he had never experienced. Humanity had always survived because it adapted, evolved, and refused to be constrained by what others expected. And now, he had shown an entire civilization why that mattered. As they watched the stars, the ship moved with newfound confidence. Every course correction, every system adjustment, every decision was influenced by something previously forbidden: human unpredictability. The Velari, for the first time in their history, were not fully in control, and they were learning to survive anyway. Cyril glanced at Aaron. The galaxy doesn't know it yet, but humanity has just changed it forever. Aaron smiled, letting the enormity of the moment wash over him. I guess that's our specialty. They stood there, side by side, watching stars drift past. One whispered sentence, one act of defiance had set in motion something that could not be undone. The rules had ended. Chaos had entered, and the universe was richer for it. For the first time in generations, Velari officers who had once dismissed humans as flawed looked on not with scorn, but with awe. Human ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability had proven that survival was not about perfection. It was about persistence, adaptability, and the courage to defy expectations. And somewhere deep inside the core mind, the pulse of human chaos continued to ripple outward, ensuring that humanity's mark on the galaxy would be permanent. Aaron finally leaned back against the railing, exhaling. No rules tonight, he murmured, echoing Cyril's words from the first encounter. Cyril smiled. No rules, and perhaps that is the rule we should always remember. They both looked at the stars, knowing that the galaxy had changed, not because of power or weapons or protocol, but because humans had dared to step where no one else would, embracing chaos and turning it into strength. The story of survival, adaptation, and humanity's quiet dominance had only just begun. The galaxy was watching, and now it would never underestimate humans again.